Coming up next, we have crime writer extraordinaire Liz Nugent coming to a bookstore near you. Right now on Ireland with Michael. Liz Nugent, I am so happy to see that gorgeous face. The last time I saw you was in Wexford about 4 years ago, and I shared a pint with you down in my local, and I have been watching your story for the past several years, and it excites me no end. Tell me, where are you now?
I am at home in my office. I have been out for a socially distanced walk twice in the last 3 weeks. I spent a lot of time in hospital last year and early this year, and I have had lots of problems with my leg, and at the moment I can't get physiotherapy, so I'm a little bit restricted in mobility. So it just means that I'm spending a lot more time at home than I normally would. And I guess that's where I am right now.
And tell me, so I see you as a quintessential Dubliner. I see you as being the girl about town who, at least from the outside looking on, has this hugely busy life. So I don't know how it must feel to be locked up in the house.
Well, I am a Dubliner at heart, but there are certain places outside Dublin that I wouldn't mind living in either. Do you know what I mean? I think Limerick is a really nice city, despite its somewhat dodgy reputation. There's a thriving art scene in Limerick. Same in Wexford with the Opera Festival and all the music, and the west coast of Ireland has all that scenic beauty and literary festivals everywhere, which is, the part of the summer that I'm really going to miss, because all of those have been cancelled. I mean, literary festivals are, I would treat my summer holidays as going to those literary festivals. There's Listowel, there's the West Cork Literary Festival in Bantry. I had to miss all of those.
I think the thing to realise is that they will all be back. I love that you're talking about literary festivals, because many of the people watching this come to Ireland for its scenery and for its music. And there is that kind of place that we have, obviously, in literature. But people don't realise that in all of these small towns, there's a huge amount of festivals. And in particular in Ireland, literature has a place that, and indeed what I love is also bookstores in Ireland have a place in Irish society. And you certainly are now one of the pillars of the world of literature in Ireland. Let me just start off by saying, we worked together 20 years ago when you were a stage manager in Riverdance and I was a wee little singer. And
you're an amazing singer.
Well, thanks very much. But little did either of us know that we'd go on to have a semblance of a career in the arts.
I know. Well, certainly at the forefront. Like I was a backstage person, as you know. I was a stage manager in Riverdance. But you were always up front and center on the stage, and you had that amazing solo. But I was very much backstage, and I then went into, after Riverdance, I went into TV and I worked backstage on as a story associate on a TV soap opera called Fair City. And I did that for 10 years. And I worked for IFTA, the Irish Film and Television Academy, the equivalent of the BAFTAs or the Oscars on their award ceremony, but very much in a backstage capacity, selecting juries and all that kind of stuff. But I always had this kind of drive to write or to do something. And eventually I started writing kind of little short stories. And then one of the short stories I expanded into this book, Unraveling Oliver, which was my first novel. And I kind of thought, oh, well, it would just be amazing to write a book and finish it and get that done and, just have a book with my name on it and see it on a shelf someday somewhere. That would just be my life's ambition. And the book just took off. It was number one for weeks in Ireland, and it won Crime Novel of the Year award. And then it got published in America, and then in 16, 17 other countries around the world, including Mandarin and Korean and Lithuanian and all of the European languages. So I just got lucky. But what I didn't realize was that I would then be asked to write another book because I actually thought I've used up all my ideas.
Oh, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I did it. I did what I set out to do. I can't possibly. But I then got, commissioned to write other books like this one. Sorry, this is an ad for me. Lying in Wait was my second novel. This is the American edition again.
Have it on my bookshelf.
Yeah, and then came Skin Deep. This is the Irish UK edition. And my latest newborn baby, Our Little Cruelties, which will be out in America in November, just in time to distract from the elections. But the election, I should say, the election. But the writing thing came very late for me. I was 45 when my first novel was published. So I like the fact that you called me a girl earlier on, because I'm 52.
I guess I call myself a chap, and you will always be a girl to me. So we'll meet in 20 years' time, and I'm going to say the same, Liz. So
great.
Tell me, how does it feel now to have that international reputation? Because I remember when Unraveling Oliver came out, I posted about it on my Facebook page, and then I live 5,000 miles away from you, and my in-laws, my partner's sister Jean, lives in Western Iowa, in the middle of it's rural. And I was visiting her house about a year ago, and she was talking about her book club, and she asked me had I ever heard of a writer called Liz Nugent.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
I did like a backflip. I was so excited. Of course, she was then super excited because she got to go in and gloat at the book club about Liz Nugent.
Wait till she sees this.
I know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. I love that for you. I'm excited for you. I think it's having that outreach. It's not for me. It's like, I'm always amazed. It's not about fame. It's about reaching people that you never thought you would ever reach before, that you can kind of get into the mind, into the space, the creative spaces of somebody that you would never in a million years have a hope to connect with otherwise. And that must be an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not about fame. In fact, one of the things, my dad is a very wise man, unfortunately in a care home at the moment, so I'm kind of worried about him. Okay. But he said to me in the early days of the success of Unraveling Oliver, and he couldn't open a newspaper without seeing my face, and he said, look, you're going to have to decide, do you want to be a writer or do you want to be a celebrity?
Tell me, I have two final things that I want to ask you about. So if you were sitting there now, because I always kind of saw you as somebody with depth and understanding, and you're an incredibly intellectual. You led with your intellect, right? But I never saw that darkness, for want of a better word, that you are able to create. And what I want to know is how you can access that as a writer. Do you envelop yourself in a world that you're kind of afraid of sometimes, or are you always the objective storyteller?
I write a character, because all of my characters are first person narratives. Yeah. So I step into the world of that character, and I'm writing about basically sociopathic people. Yeah. So I imagine myself to be a sociopath and try to think like how a sociopath would think. So I am those characters while I'm writing them. So I will justify the terrible actions that they do from their point of view. And I will, really immerse myself in those characters' worlds. But I also look at the point of view of the victims or the survivors of these characters, and play out the consequences of their actions. So it's not just this one malevolent character who controls the entire narrative. I also look at it from the point of view of the victims and the consequences for those characters as well.
So you're waiting for your latest book to come out in the US at the end of the year, right? Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to ask you one quick question before you go.
Okay.
When this is done, when we're allowed to go out into the world, what do you miss most, and what will you do?
I will go and see my dad. I haven't seen him in 9 weeks now. He's in a care home that is not affected by COVID, but it's not that he has Alzheimer's, it's just that his cognitive abilities are going. It's dementia, and I really want to see him while he still knows who I am. Like, he knows nothing about the book. Like, Arnold Cruelties is just, it's been number 1 in the bestsellers list for the last 7 weeks, and he doesn't know anything about that. He doesn't know anything about the book. He'll never read it, and that breaks my heart. So the first thing I'll do when we can get back to some kind of normality is go and see my dad.
How proud he must be.
If he was aware, he would be super proud, but unfortunately he won't really be aware, but he'll just I just hope that that by that time that he'll still remember who I am, and that he'll be really pleased to see me. That's my dearest, most fervent wish.
What a legacy he has. Liz Nugent, I am super proud of you. I name drop you all over North America. I'm delighted for your success, and I look forward to sharing a pint with you very soon.
As I am delighted for yours. Thank you so much, and I look forward to that pint too.
Bye.